This unusual encounter between a cow and one of the top 14 most lethal animals is amazing. These strange incidents are extremely rare and can be dismissed as folklore due to the lack of convincing evidence. Science has yet to fully comprehend the behavior of every animal in the animal kingdom. But one thing is certain: leopards are fearsome ambush predators that may sever their prey's necks with a single strong bite. So, how is this possible? A leopard was seen invading a farmer's land in India one night. Leopards are notorious for their ruthlessness. With a single swift bite and a snap to the neck, they can immobilize their prey. He was exceedingly worried about his family's safety. The farmer also raised cows and other small animals. He remained vigilant until the leopard eventually left a few hours later. The farmer dashed over to check on his animals. When the leopard saw them safe and unharmed, it was almost as if he had never arrived. The farmer thought the leopard's actions were rather peculiar. The farmer was suspicious of its mission on his land, so he set out to investigate. The leopard came like he did every other night. In order to avoid waking the leopard, the farmer cautiously pursued it. The subsequent sight shocked him. The farmer and his family resided in Gujarat. The majority of the population in the hamlet were farmers. Animals were frequently preyed upon by predators. The leopard was one of these predators. To protect their family and cattle, several households were forced to evacuate. The remaining families had little weapons to protect themselves from the predators. The female leopard will roam and wait in the long grasses until dusk to rob the inhabitants of a goat or chicken. Many residents set up guard dogs to keep a lookout for the predator. However, the leopard continued to wreak havoc on the villages, so even that was ineffective. Residents rapidly began to feel threatened. They feared that the leopard would also attack them. Because of their worry, they avoided late evenings. The village sought ways to keep a watch on the leopard and apprehend it in its den. The people suspected the female leopard was a mother leopard looking for her cub. The villagers' predicament was reported to the local authorities. They got right to work and devised methods to capture the leopard. Over the course of several evenings, they observed their target's behavior. They had been watching its every move and were ready to seize it. The authorities successfully captured the female leopard and decided to move her to a forest far from the village. The leopard returned a year later to scare the locals even more. And it was more daring and daring this time. It was unconcerned about being seen or apprehended as it prowled the streets in broad daylight. The locals were afraid as a result of the leopard's daring actions. They avoided the streets and paid special attention to their surroundings. A few days later, the humans mustered the courage to approach the leopard. They realized that it was smaller than the previous leopard. They suspected it was a female leopard cub. The leopard that frequently visited the farmer's land at night was represented by this juvenile cub. The farmer will keep watch until it has left. After the leopard goes to bed, he will check to make sure his animals and his property are secure. He tried to figure out what the leopard was looking for. The farmer learned the solution that evening. Everything he knew and believed about predators was challenged by what he saw that night. He alerted his family about the strange visit. The news reached the village as well. When the peasants reported the surprise visit to the local authorities, they felt it was a hoax. The whispers persisted, and the authorities grew curious as to whether the allegations that were spreading like wildfire were true. The farmer went into great detail about his observations. Every night around 9:30 p.m., the leopard arrives and departs after about an hour. The farmer's wife corroborated her husband's story. Every evening, the leopard will pay the farmer a visit and hug one of his cows. Despite the presence of video proof, the story was seen as strange and unlikely. Because it missed its mother, the leopard craved a nurturing influence. The farmer will find the leopard curled up close to the cow. The leopard did not injure the other bulls. They rushed away in panic when it arrived. The cow didn't seem to mind that it was there. The leopard will lick it and purr happily if it curls up next to it, then slap the cow across the face. This event attracted the farmer's interest, and he didn't want to scare off the leopard. The wife, on the other hand, was anxious that the leopard would rapidly realize its true nature and put them in danger. They requested help from the authorities so that the cub may permanently abandon their goods and animals. The farmer's wife contacted the local administration to inform them of their situation. The cops, on the other hand, found the farmer's wife's story hilarious and giggled. The farmer's wife requested that the neighborhood cops investigate. The officials began their inquiry the next evening. After becoming aware of their presence, the leopard entered the barn through a side entrance. They didn't realize it had already been a while. They barged into the barn brandishing weapons in an attempt to capture the cub, but it escaped. The officers returned the next night to capture the cub, leopard. They settled into their positions on the roof this time. From where they were, they could see the leopard enter the barn. It went there to cuddle up next to the cow. The officials were unsure about the situation at the time. Even though the leopard did not harm the animals or destroy anything, they were terrified that it would turn on the farmer and his family. Despite having no justification for harming the leopard, the authorities were still in a pickle. Even though none of the animals were wounded, they didn't want to let down their guard. They made the decision to ask the village elders for their opinion as a result. The village elders listened intently as they described what had happened. After hearing their account, they were astounded by it themselves. At first, they didn't believe it, but eventually they did. The elders debated this for a long time before deciding to act morally. They both believed that it was just a matter of time before the leopard's rapacious impulses surfaced. If they did nothing, not only would the lives of the farmer's family be at risk, but also the lives of everyone in the neighborhood. As they had previously done with the leopard's mother, the elders instructed the authorities to capture the leopard. The authorities devised a plan to capture the leopard and release it into the wild, just as they had done with its mother. The officials used a goat as bait in their relatively simple trap design to tempt the leopard. They thought it would act predatorily and take the bait in order to be caught. The leopard, on the other hand, feigned not to notice the approaching goat. It then hugged the cow like normal. The leopard had just declined an unpaid lunch. The natives were not interested in harming the leopard at this time. Another example of the leopard's lack of interest in its prey. The cow cared for the leopard for weeks, and the farmer began to worry that the cow would mourn the leopard after it died. The officials devised a new method to apprehend the leopard. They will give it a tranquilizer shot and take it far away from the village. The locals kept tabs on what was occurring on the farmer's holdings. To kill the leopard with the tranquilizer, the locals hired a hunter. Everything was prepared as they awaited the arrival of the leopard. But the leopard never appeared. It didn't return to the cow that evening since it appeared to have sensed his vulnerability. The villagers were simultaneously relieved and sad. Residents quickly discovered that a leopard was terrorizing a nearby settlement. According to reports, the leopard only attacked their dogs and did not harm any other animals. When the farmer and his wife got the news, they regretted what they had done to get rid of the leopard. They were concerned that the leopard had become vindictive. The farmer's family had grown accustomed to the leopard's presence, so they missed it. Even the cow, who cared for the leopard every evening, missed him. Their prayers were soon answered when the leopard returned one night. The arrival of the leopard made the farmer pleased. He was on guard, keeping an eye on the leopard's movements. This time, the leopard spent more time with the cow than normal. Unaware that it was a farewell visit, the farmer went. At first light, the leopard vanished, never to be seen again. The farmer hoped for additional visits, but the leopard never showed up. Local officials asked wildlife experts to share their encounters with the leopard. They used video footage as evidence, since they knew the wildlife experts wouldn't believe them at first. The wildlife experts couldn't believe what they were seeing. The only explanation was that the leopard built a bond with the cow before its predatory impulses completely developed. The story of the cow and the leopard is still told among the peasants as a tale of love and parenting.